Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So, a few weeks back, or like a month ago at this point, I think, I told a story time about an old friend slash plug of mine that was a little bit on the odd side, a little weird, I might say myself. And I told this funny story about him. And if you haven't seen it, I will leave that first link in the description. But I have another story time about that guy today. And you don't have to watch the first one to understand this one, but it helps give some context into this guy's interesting mind. And I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do. Also, my new song Bad Mood is out now. It's been doing really well. I appreciate all the support. If you haven't heard it yet, I will leave it in the description. Definitely go check it out. I feel like a lot of you guys are really going to like it. Anyway, today's story time. Let's jump into it. So today's story time all takes place about a month after that story time I told. And back in those days, I was definitely a little bit more ignorant, a little bit more naive, didn't really think before I made decisions like I do now. And one day I was sitting in my room. It was a Saturday afternoon. Everything was going great. Really no complaints. I was just kicking back on my bed, being lazy all day. I had no plans. I was just going to sit inside, play COD, sit on my PC, and just do nothing. That was my plan for the day. Well, out of nowhere, I get a FaceTime from one of my friends. This was the friend that introduced me to that plug. I'm gonna give them both names, okay? The friend calling me, his name was Tommy. The friend that was the plug, his name was Ethan, okay? So Tommy calls me up, and I answer. And before I could even say hello, this dude's like, "What's up, motherfucker? How you doing?" And I was like, "What's good, man?" He was all ramped up for no reason. And he's like, "Yo, I'm going over to Ethan's house. You wanna come with me?" And I was like, the weird plug. He's like, "Yeah, dude, we're gonna go hang out, just kick it at his house, smoke a little bit." And I was like, "I don't know, man. I'm kind of just like chilling today. I think I'm just gonna hang inside, watch some TV." And he interrupts me. He's like, "Nah, fuck that shit. Fuck that, dude. Nah, we're going there. You're coming with me. I'm gonna come pick you up right now." And I was like, "Bro, how long are you gonna be there?" He's like, "I don't know, like a couple hours." I was like, "Bro, I don't want to go anywhere, dude. It's Saturday. I'm trying to just chill tonight." He's like, "Bro, can you just come hang out with me, man? I'm bored. I don't want to go there alone. Like, come on." And I was like, "Fine, bro, I'll go with you. If it's actually 2 hours. If it's any more, you're taking me home." He's like, "Deal, man, deal. 2 hours, no more." I'm like, "All right, bro." And we rode to this dude's house, Ethan, the plug. Now, upon arriving there, it was good to know that this man hadn't changed a bit since I last saw him. Still odd as ever. We walked into his house, and the first thing we noticed was he was in his living room, and he was watching the Food Network. He was watching some show about exotic desserts. And while he was doing this, he was making the exotic dessert in the kitchen. And on the living room table, there was a scale and some things on that table that I can't even name because they're not legal and, I might get demonetized. But definitely not the safest environment to be in at that age. And I think it goes without saying here, but before I even go any further, if you are young, old, I don't care what age you are, if you're a kid, if you're an adult, don't go to a house like this. This was the definition of a trap house. You just don't go in a house like that. That is the just pure definition of danger. So yeah, don't do that. But yeah, my dumbass was in this house already with my friend and we were hanging out in there, and this guy's making some like weird exotic cinnamon rolls while watching the Food Network doing like some tutorial. It was just ridiculous, right? All in all, I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. And I remember looking over at Tommy and I was like, "Yo, what is going on right now?" And he's like, "Dude, he's a little strange, but he's a good dude." So we take a seat on Mr. Plug's couch. We sit down on Ethan's couch. We're sitting there watching this Food Network tutorial show thing. He's in the kitchen baking. We're just sitting there. And like 20 minutes later, this dude finishes his dessert and he brings it in on a tray. And he's like, "Yo, you guys got to try this." And he hands one to me and he hands one to my homie, Tommy. And the first thought in my head was, did he put something in these desserts that's going to make me have a bad time? Like, psilocybin or like THC, just something that I'm not expecting, right? So I asked him, I'm like, "Did you put anything in these?" He's like, some eggs, milk, cinnamon. You allergic to any of that?" And I was like, "No, like weed or anything." He's like, No, dude, they're just regular desserts." I'm like, "Okay." So I tried it. And I gotta say, for a dealer, the man could bake, okay? It was a pretty damn good cinnamon roll. The best cinnamon roll I've probably ever had in my entire life, to say the least, okay? It was beautiful, and I think about it every day, and it's bringing a fucking tear to my eye talking about it right now because I miss it and I'll never have one again. So, it was good. I ate the whole thing. So did my homie. We told him how good it was. He was obviously hyped to hear that. And then, yeah, he sits down on the couch next to us, and we're just watching TV, kind of talking shit, just talking, catching up. I was telling him about how I kind of misjudged him at first. When I first met him, I thought he was like a weird dude. And like, well, he might be a little weird. He's really chill. And we just kind of were talking, having a normal conversation, right? Well, about 30 minutes later, we start to hear some pretty weird sounds. We hear what sounds like people on the porch in the backyard, because his backyard had like a big back deck, and the living room that we were sitting in had like a sliding glass door that connected to that back deck, and it sounded like somebody was out there. So obviously that was pretty weird and put us all kind of like in a weird mood, and we got really paranoid and started looking over there to make sure we didn't see anything. And we didn't see anything. So we went back to like watching TV, and then like a couple minutes later, we hear voices again out there, like stomping around. So now we know for sure somebody's out there. At first it was like, maybe that was a voice, maybe that was an animal or something, like we don't know. But then we heard it again, and like it sounded like people walking. So we're like, okay, there's gotta be somebody out there. So we all stand up, we walk over to the sliding glass door, and upon peeking out to the sliding glass door, I see, no joke, probably 25 police officers, and most of them are wearing SWAT gear and are about to break down this fucking door. Now, naturally, I freak out on the inside, and I immediately throw my hands up, because I just knew it was coming. I knew they were all about to start screaming, "Put your hands up." And sure enough, I was right. The minute they saw us and made eye contact, they all started screaming, "Hands up, hands up." They then instructed Ethan to open the sliding glass door and come out with his hands up, as well as all of us. We obviously listened, because I'm not trying to go to jail. And I already knew what was going on. This wasn't me being swatted like this usually is. This was the result of Ethan getting busted. He got reported, or he didn't cover his tracks well enough, and he got caught by the police in my town, and they were raiding his house for illegal substances. So yeah, they put us all in cuffs, sat us down on the back deck, started searching the house, raiding the house. They found so much stuff, obviously, because he was a plug, so that was very much not good for him. The police came over to me and my homie Tommy, kind of like got our side of the story of why we were there. We were just talking about how we were hanging out. We weren't there to do anything illegal, which was true. We really weren't. We were just hanging there. So within like 30 minutes of talking to them, they uncuffed us, told us we were free to go, and to never hang out with him again. So we listened. We walked away. We went back home to Tommy's house, and we got back to his house, sat down, kind of unwinded for a little bit. We were wondering what was going to happen to Ethan, because like, you know, he was screwed. Like, they found everything he owned, like his whole stash, like everything. Like, he was definitely going away for a while. And we found out like a week later what happened to him. Now, he ended up getting bailed out like a few days later. His bail was pretty expensive from what I was told, but his family obviously bailed him out. And he got sentenced way further down the line. It took a long time for this dude to get sentenced. And when he did, I don't remember the exact sentence he got, but I remember how much time he served. So if I had to guess, he probably got like a few years sentence, maybe even 5, but he only ended up serving 2. I remember he got out early on good behavior, on parole essentially, or probation. I don't know what it's called. I think it's parole. But he got out early after 2 years. And he essentially had to just be a very, very good individual. Could not get in trouble with the law. Had to like check in with an officer, I'm pretty sure. Honestly, I'm not too sure on the details of his parole because I didn't hang out with him anymore. After he got out, I just never hung out with him again because I was never that close with him to begin with. He was more of a mutual friend through Tommy. Tommy kind of stayed hanging out with him on and off, but even he kind of grew distant from him because he didn't want to get in trouble hanging around with him. But from what I heard, man, yeah, he got out after a couple of years and he was on like some sort of parole or probation or something. And he was okay for the most part. Now today, I'm not too sure what he's doing, but I can tell you this. I looked him up on Facebook and he is not in jail, so that's good for him. He seems to be healthy looking, so that's good. So the weird plug seems to be thriving, so good for him. Now there really is one moral to this story. Do not go to a trap house. I said it earlier in the story, but do not go to a trap house or a dealer's house or whatever. Like, stay away from those people and their homes. I know I sound like Uncle Luna right now, but like, I gotta look out for y'all, man. Stay away from those people. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the story time. That is how I was hanging out with a couple of friends and then his house got raided. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
I'm in a bad mood. I can see it today. I remember